Dramatic and thrilling 2024 NFL regular season is now in the books.
Tell us when the last time a Triple Crown winner in the system merger hadn't made the playoffs?
Your brother?
I can't either. No, I can't either. That was 30 plus years ago.
While 18 teams will ponder what exactly went wrong this year, 14 other clubs are in the dance to determine the victor of Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. So with that, how about we dive into our Super Wildcard edition of the 2024 NFL Power Rankings. Number 14, Pittsburgh Steelers. Last time's ranking, 11. If there is one team to be awfully pessimistic about heading into the 14-team postseason, it's the Steelers. Just when it looked like the Pittsburgh Steelers had the AFC North in their laps, they finished the regular season on a 4-game losing skid. In that stretch, the Russell Wilson-led offense averaged 14.25 points per game. And the usually dominant defense, well, a mere average of 27.25 points allowed per contest during that losing streak. Russell Wilson has now thrown for under 220 passing yards in 5 straight games. George Pickens, one of those guys who always wants the ball, has 1 touchdown in his last 5 games. We know Lamar Jackson has a pretty bad track record against Pittsburgh, but the Ravens just crushed Mike Tomlin's group 34-17 right here at M&T Bank Stadium in Week 16. So the Steelers now must solve a lights-out Baltimore defense and a clicking offense led by Jackson and Derrick Henry. If the Steelers lose, their playoff win drought will extend to 9 years and lead to speculation that maybe it's time for Tomlin to go. Number 13, Houston Texans. Last time's ranking, 14. The Texans ended the regular season on a pretty dang high note, with their backups guiding the AFC South champs to a 23-14 road win over the Tennessee Titans. Now, yeah, sure, we know it was a meaningless game that featured minimal action from the starters, but hey, that has to feel nice after that humiliating 31-2 home loss to the Ravens in Week 17. In a year largely affected by injuries, the Texans still defended the division crown and secured a second straight double-digit win season. Houston was probably hoping to play an unraveling Pittsburgh team, but they'll instead get the surging Los Angeles Chargers on wildcard weekend. Either way, Houston at least has home advantage despite finishing with the inferior record. With Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell out for the year, most aren't expecting the Texans to go very far this year. Number 12, Denver Broncos. Last time's ranking, 13. Thanks to the Kansas City Chiefs locking up the AFC's top seed, Bo Nix and the Broncos were handed the AFC's last wildcard spot on a silver platter. And oh boy, they licked every damn crumb off that platter all right. Nix put a cherry on top of his epic rookie regular season by making easy work of Kansas City's backups in a 38-0 victory. 26 of 29 for 321 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Now that is how you punch your ticket to the postseason, folks. A masterful job by Sean Payton to quickly turn this operation around. The Broncos looked helpless and doomed a year ago, but Payton was adamant that Nix was the future of his team, and, well, the results speak for themselves. 10 wins in the franchise's first playoff berth since 2015, when they won Super Bowl 50 in Peyton Manning's last year? Oh yeah, I would consider that a success. Oh yeah, it's game on for Bills Mafia. Number 11, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time's ranking, 12. Yeah, it was way closer than it should have been, but hey, a 3-TD second half against the New Orleans Saints team without several key starters, including Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara, propelled the Bucs to the NFC South division crown. A resilient Baker Mayfield proved that 2023 was no fluke. Mike Evans hit 1,000 yards receiving for the 11th straight year, thanks to the Bucs' risky play calling at the very end when they needed just a kneel down to ice the game. The Buccaneers' reward is a Week 1 rematch with Jaden Daniels and the 12-5 Washington Commanders. You may recall that Daniels had a rude welcoming to the NFL at Raymond James Stadium 4 months ago, a 37-20 Tampa Bay win. Fun nugget of information here, the Commanders' last playoff win was the 2005 wildcard round right here in Tampa Bay. We'll see if Mayfield and company can punch a ticket to the Elite Eight for the second straight year, or if Washington will get some sweet revenge from Week 1. Number 10, Los Angeles Rams. Last time's ranking, 9. Sean McVay decided that it wasn't worth the risk. Instead of pushing for the number 3 seed, he rested his starters and gave the backups a look in Sunday's regular season finale with the Seattle Seahawks. The Bucs win, coupled with the Rams' 30-25 loss, dropped LA to the number 4 seed. Now LA must play host to the 14-win Minnesota Vikings instead of a less dangerous Washington team. Now we know the Rams beat the Vikings 30-20 at home back in Week 8, but we're still kind of nervous about this matchup for McVay's group. Nonetheless, we're still totally fired up about a matchup featuring two of the league's best young and offensive-minded coaches. Oh, another little fun nugget to point out here, Vikings DC Brian Flores was the New England Patriots defensive play caller in their Super Bowl 53 win against the Rams. You know, the game where the Pats D held LA's offensive juggernaut to just 3 points. So, there's that. And, of course, a thrilling Monday Night Chess match now awaits. Number 9, Green Bay Packers. Last time's ranking, 7. Well, this was not the way the Pack wanted to go into the postseason. They dropped their final 2 regular season games and missed out on a favorable wildcard round matchup against the Rams. Now Jordan Love and company must travel to Philadelphia to take on a much more dangerous 14-win Eagles squad. The Packers lost standout receiver Christian Watson and Jordan Love in their Week 18 loss to the Chicago Bears. Matt LaFleur erased some concerns by stating that Love could have returned, but it still doesn't feel nice losing to your arch rivals for the first time since 2018. With Watson hurt and the defense showing some major holes in the last 2 weeks, we're not sure how we feel about Green Bay's chances against Philly. Number 8, Los Angeles Chargers. Last time's ranking, 10. The Bolts put the stamp on a tremendous first regular season under Jim Harbaugh by dismantling the rival Las Vegas Raiders 34-10 in their own barn. To make things better for the Chargers, the Steelers' loss to the Cincinnati Bengals helped LA move up into the AFC's number 5 seed, giving them a far more favorable matchup against the Texans. Believe us, they would way rather face Houston than make a trip to Baltimore. That 11-6 finish, by the way, is the Chargers' best since 2018. With a superstar QB in Justin Herbert, a top-tier offensive line, and the league's number 1 scoring defense, LA is more than capable of going on a deep playoff run here. Number 7, Washington Commanders. Last time's ranking, 8. Even with Jane Daniels and other valuable starters seeing limited action, the Commanders still took down the Dallas Cowboys 23-19, with Marcus Mariota throwing a last-second game-winning score to Terry McLaurin. The Commanders finished the regular season with a superb 12-5 mark, led by the all-world play of Daniels and a grade A job by new head coach Dan Quinn. The Commanders have grown immensely since their season-opening loss in Tampa Bay. As good as Washington's defense has been, something tells us that this will be a high-scoring thriller between Daniels and Mayfield. Number 6, Baltimore Ravens. Last time's ranking, 6. While Pittsburgh dropped its final 4 games, the Ravens closed out the year on a 4-game win streak to snag the AFC North crown for a second straight year. The Ravens are always dangerous with Lamar Jackson behind center, but the arrival of Derrick Henry took this offense to a whole nother level. Like last year, the 2024 Ravens finished with a top 10 offense and defense. Remember, these guys crushed the Bills in Week 4 and lost to the Chiefs in Week 1 by mere inches. One could argue that they're the most dangerous team in the AFC after Kansas City. We know that Jackson's group can hang in there with everybody after all. But hey, first things first, the Ravens ought to get past the Steelers on Super Wildcard Weekend. Number 5, Buffalo Bills. Last time's ranking, 5. The Bills danced to a 5th straight AFC East Division crown and finished with 13 wins for the 3rd time in 5 years. Likely MVP winner Josh Allen had a career year despite the departure of Stephon Diggs, having flourished under Joe Brady's everybody feast system. But everyone knows how good the Bills are in the regular season. It is time to at least return to the AFC Championship game after 3 straight losses in the divisional round, 2 being at the hands of the Chiefs. The Broncos will not be easy by any means. Remember, Peyton's group won in Buffalo on Monday night a year ago, leading to Brady replacing the fired Ken Dorsey as OC. So much is at stake for Buffalo against the Broncos. If 2024 isn't their year, then when will it ever be? Number 4, Minnesota Vikings. Last time's ranking, 3. Football can sure be a cruel sport. The Vikings finished 14-3 for their best regular season record since 1998. And yet the mood in the Gopher State is still a bit sour. That's because Kevin O'Connell's group completely no-showed their Sunday Night Football clash against the Detroit Lions with the NFC North and Conference's top seed on the line. The Vikings were the biggest surprise of the regular season, though. Yet it still feels like they need to win at least one playoff game in order for this year to be considered a success. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles. Last time's ranking, 4. With the NFC's second seed locked up, the Eagles rested their key players in Week 18 and still defeated the New York Giants 20-13. It's hard to recall that these guys were once 2-2 and that head coach Nick Sirianni was once on the hot seat. Oh, and Saquon Barkley joined the 2,000-yard rushing club, so it is gonna be fun to observe how they perform in a postseason run. Number 2, Detroit Lions. Last time's ranking, 2. 4 total touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs powered the Lions to a 31-9 victory over Minnesota to clinch the NFC's top seed and first-round bye. Then again, you know that Dan Campbell's squad isn't jumping up and down just yet. It's Super Bowl or bust for a team that was oh so close to the Super Bowl last season. Number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. Last time's ranking, 1. The defending Super Bowl champions cannot have any concerns about losing 38-0 to a desperate Broncos team on the road. They were playing their backups in a completely meaningless game. The Chiefs have yet to lose a divisional round game in the Mahomes era. They'll either get the Texans, Chargers, Steelers, or Broncos in their first playoff game, and KC should be double-digit favorites against any of them. But hey, what changes would you make to our Super Wildcard edition of the Power Rankings? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.